Live from Southwest Florida's news source, this is Fox 4 News at 6.
Now at 6, frightening flames. Homeowners forced to flee as a fierce wildfire closes in. The massive response it took to get this under control. Plus,
any reason why the 911 tapes can't be released yet?
We just don't feel comfortable releasing anything about it what we think is prematurely.
still pressing for answers tonight. Fox 4 going straight to the top now as the secretive investigation of a domestic shooting involving Naples police officers enters week 5. And new details of this coastline catastrophe. What federal officials are now revealing about this plane crash that claimed the lives of a father and his daughter on a Southwest Florida beach. But first, all eyes on an active Storm Patrol Viper radar as inland showers make for a wet Thursday evening at this hour. Thanks for choosing Fox 4 News at 6. I'm Patrick Nolan along with the Storm Patrol's Jim Cyan. Jim?
As we told you yesterday, it was a little bit wetter in Southwest Florida today. We've been tracking those storms through the morning, now into the afternoon and evening, using the Power 4. A lot of rain showing up, but right now it's mainly on the East Coast. Look what's happened here over the last hour and a half in Southwest Florida. Many of you drove home, saw some threatening clouds, especially in Lee and Collier County. Those showers have dissipated significantly here, especially in the last half hour. We'll zoom in a little bit closer, use our street level mapping, show you the heaviest rain that remains. There's a collapsing thunderstorm just a little bit to the west of Palmdale. That one raining itself out right now. Now this is an extremely active thunderstorm, but this one is moving toward the other side of the state. Alligator Alley getting some of that real heavy rain and some frequent lightning too. So as far as our weather headlines go, well, it's going to be a day where we see some heavy rains for some of us tomorrow. I'm going to explain coming up here in a couple of minutes. Things are definitely getting hotter, maybe even dangerously hot, and we're tracking the tropics for you too. It's all on the way.
Frightening moments for people living in this Estero neighborhood. A brush fire threatening their homes and sending more than 100 firefighters into action. This 15-acre fire started around 1 o'clock right near the western end of the Fountain Lakes community. It's just off 41. Now, thankfully, crews have contained the fire by now. 4 in your corner anchor Kelly Stegeman live in the neighborhood with a look at just how close those flames got. Kelly?
Patrick, we've just learned in the last few minutes that investigators believe that this fire may have been accidental. They say there was a transient camp in the woods over here. They may have started a fire that just got out of control. Now, hours after that blaze started in this neighborhood, you can still see cars driving here through a blanket of smoke there on the ground. It's hard not to feel for these residents who got either calls at work or knocks on their doors telling them to get out with the clothes on their backs, not knowing if they would see their homes again. It wasn't just the work of firefighters that made all the difference here, but neighbors taking it upon themselves to alert anyone and everyone that needed to know there was trouble here.
Got a phone call from a neighbor that said the woods was involved and they're right behind the house.
In that moment, Andrew Devlin had one fear. His dog Mimi was stuck in the house.
No one else was home and she was, and I had to rush back here to make sure we got her out.
Not allowed to get close to his home, he relied on firefighters to get Mimi out safely. At least 5 other neighbors were in a similar predicament, forced to leave in a moment's notice because the fire was knocking at their doors.
And I came in, and it's a big deal. I don't know how it started either.
For 3 hours, firefighters fought the 15-acre blaze, even spraying rooftops should the fire get too close.
All that back there is undeveloped and dry.
The 4-alarm fire took a team of dozens of firefighters from around the area to stop the threat.
Everybody is allowed back into their houses. They're starting to let people come back in.
It didn't happen a moment too soon for these neighbors waiting and hoping.
I was thinking maybe bring out the garden hose, but thank God they got right on it.
Firefighters saying a plan of action and plenty of help left this neighborhood intact.
No homes, no injuries, no life. It was a good day.
Firefighters late this afternoon actually reignited that fire because there were some hot spots that were next to portions that hadn't burned yet. So they wanted to make sure those burned in a controlled setting so that they wouldn't be coming back here and neighbors would have to go through this thing all over again a few hours later. Now, we do not expect any charges to be filed in this case. We are live in Estero tonight. Kelly Stegeman, Fox 4 in your corner.
5 weeks after a deadly shooting involving 2 Naples police officers, and the community still has a lot of questions tonight, like who pulled the trigger at their Lakes of Estero home, who called 911, and what about a motive? Officer Dave Monroy died inside that home. Lieutenant Amy Young, his domestic partner, was also shot but is now out of the hospital. And that's really all the Lee Sheriff's Office has said as it investigates. 4 in Your Corner, investigator Warren Wright going straight to the top now, asking the sheriff himself why he can't give you more answers now. Warren?
Well, you, the viewer, have been calling us with your thoughts and opinions on this homicide investigation. Some of you want answers now. Others have said, let the sheriff do his job. Today, I had a lengthy conversation with the sheriff, and he opened up about the controversy and whether there is any special treatment involved. With regards to the investigation with Amy Young, where is the Sheriff's Department on this?
Well, as we've said all along, and it's been made to be, frankly, by yours and other outlets, that we're hiding information and we're withholding information. That's not the case.
Any indication as to why this is taking longer?
It's actually not, Warren. If you look at other cases, this is not necessarily taking that long. This is a complicated case. There are no really eyewitnesses, so to speak, so we're relying on very scientific and forensic evidence left behind, and we want to be sure we have it right.
Any reason why the 911 tapes can't be released yet?
We just don't feel comfortable releasing anything about it what we think is prematurely. Again, we have a different timetable, you and I.
Monroy's ex-wife wasn't interested in waiting for the sheriff's investigation. She requested a restraining order against Lieutenant Young, fearing for her children's safety. When people call us and they say, well, you know, are we safe? No one's been arrested.
Right.
How do you respond to that?
Well, I would simply say that what people do know about this particular case, I don't really think that they feel that there's some, crazy killer at large. I don't get that sense. Certainly if that were the case, we would be taking different measures.
Bottom line, the sheriff stressed this investigation will require more time.
We have several different key pieces of evidence that are out for testing, retesting, and validation, and that takes time.
Okay, so once his investigation is completed, Sheriff Scott says the state attorney's office has requested they have a chance to review it first before any information is released to the public. Warren Wright, Fox 4, in your corner.
All right, what are your thoughts on the sheriff's explanation? Voice your view right now when you call us at 239-206-FOX4. Cape Coral police looking for a robber on the run right now after he hit up a Walgreens on Santa Barbara Boulevard. You're looking at it now. He pushed an employee to the floor here, took off with some cash. Officers wanting you to take a close look at a surveillance image. The suspect described as a Hispanic man in his 30s, about 5 feet 5 tall. He's got a thin build and a lower lip piercing. If you have any information, you can call Cape Police at 239-574-3223. Tonight, Fox 4 is getting our hands on a new report from the National Transportation Safety Board revealing what happened just moments before this plane crashed on Venice Beach, killing a father and daughter who were walking along the shore at the time. 4 in Your Corner's Tara Molina live in the studio with details. Tara, what can you tell us?
Well, Patrick, preliminary information says the flight began as one normally would, but after that all changed when the pilot claimed the engine lost power. That's when he called for help. The NTSB report says the pilot landed on shore because he was worried the landing gear would flip over. He also reported that he didn't know he'd hit anyone until he exited the plane. That crash killing 9-year-old Oceana Irizarry and her father, 36-year-old Army Surgeon Ami Irizarry. Investigators questioned 6 witnesses who claimed they didn't hear any noise from the engine. Investigators have since taken the plane apart, hoping to figure out what caused the engine to stall. So far, they haven't found any mechanical problems, but they're still checking electrical, air induction, and fuel systems. We'll keep you posted on any new developments. Live in the studio, Tara Molina, Fox 4 in your corner.
All new at 6, a brand new charter school in Collier County is open for business just in time for the new school year. The Greater Naples Chamber of Commerce holding this ribbon cutting ceremony for Mason Classical Academy. The school's been in the works since 2012, and one of the school's governing board members, Byron Donalds, says there's no shortage of interest.
We have 900 people who apply for our school, 900 kids. We still have a waiting list in upwards of 300 children. So obviously the parents of Collier County think this is an important choice for them as well.
The charter school will serve students from grades K through 12. Meanwhile, 2 people running for a seat on Collier County's public school board are also associated with this charter school. District 1 candidate Kelly Lichter is actually the founding president of Mason Classical Academy, and District 3 candidate Erica Donalds, who is Byron Donalds' wife, you just heard from him, also serves on the school's advisory board. So some want to know if there's a conflict of interest here. For In Your Corner's Carl Fortier has both sides of the story so you can decide for yourself.
As Collier School Board candidates Erica Donalds and Kelly Lichter celebrate the opening of Mason Classical Academy, Naples resident Greg Gargan has some concerns. He says he knows that the state's attorney general has said the candidate's involvement with the new charter school is not a conflict of interest, but
from a philosophical, or moral standpoint, I think there is, because the same students that are in the pool of students for public education in Collier County are the ones that are pulled away by, these charter schools.
Erica Donalds volunteered her time and experience as a CPA to get the Mason Academy up and running as a business. She's also sending 2 children to the academy. I asked her if her involvement with the academy and the school board could clash with each other. Is there a conflict of interest as you see it?
No, and actually the state of Florida, the Attorney General has said that it's a unity of interest, that school board members and people who are involved with charter schools on a volunteer basis have the same interest in the charter schools succeeding academically and financially.
School board candidate Kelly Lichter is the academy's founder and says, like Donalds, it's been 3 years of volunteer effort.
To me, I say that shows my commitment to education, not just for my own kids, but for the other children of Collier County, and to be a voice for parents that really don't feel they have a voice.
But in the event Mason Academy doesn't perform, could she, as a school board member, make the objective decision to close the school?
But yes, I'm a person of integrity, so if it came to that, absolutely, I would be able to do that.
Still, Gargan says it just wouldn't sit well with him.
If the public school board was my company, I would not want board members who had outside interest that would be in competition to my public school kids.
In Naples, Carl Fortier, Fox 4, In Your Corner.
In 1998, then Attorney General Robert Butterworth actually stated that charter school members are not public officers, so the state's constitutional prohibition of dual office holding does not apply in that case. But we want to hear your opinion on this. What do you think of this situation? Do you think there's a conflict of interest or potential here as it pertains to your kids? Call us at 239-206-FOX4. A Southwest Florida family concerned tonight, claiming their 5-year-old was denied care at this mental health facility. Fox 4 is looking into it. Plus, the newly revealed medical condition Robin Williams had before he killed himself. His wife revealing the secret that may have deepened his depression. But first, your views on the idea of peddling pot in Southwest Florida. Your opinions on whether our area should plan now for legal marijuana. That's next.
Tracking diminishing thunderstorms right now on Storm Patrol Viper radar, but some changes this weekend that may affect how you plan when you're going to be outside. It's coming up here in a couple of minutes.